All right, all right. So this was good, but you do know we have 3 days ahead. So we need to show more energy, at least at the beginning. So let's try this again. Good morning and welcome to INNOspace Weekend! All right. Now that's more like it. That's the kind of energy that we need to bring innovation into a lot of fields that are out there today and just wait for creative minds to kick in and change the way we're doing stuff. So, what are we going to do here during the weekend? I guess you know from the website, but I'm going to go over a few things. But before that, let me just see if that works. Yes. Let me introduce myself. My name is Adrian. I come from Romania. I'm a startup person. I'm an entrepreneur, but I also work in a variety of different activities and fields. I'm into entrepreneurship, I'm into social media, and I will be your stage monkey for the weekend. I'm here to bring you energy, and whenever you feel stuck somewhere, just like raise your hand, come grab me. If you have any questions, just look for me or one of the other organizers. All right? You all got your name tags. On the back of your name tags, you're going to find a place where you can write 3 hashtags. So please use that, and sometimes during the day, preferably up until the afternoon, write 3 hashtags there. I wrote, these are for me. These are like startups, Adrian Burgers of the world. You might get a hint about what it is. And then king of hashtags. So how are we going to use that? We're going to use this as an icebreaker. So you can either write something professional that represents you or something personal. And then later in the day, when you talk to people, you just look at the hashtags and ask them, hey, what about this? What's the story behind that? So during the day, you can ask me about the story behind any of this, and I would happily share that with you. Then, other logistical issues. We have a Slack channel. I guess you all got the invite on that. So just start chit-chatting with people there. Just get acquainted. You'll have all the important announcements that will be made there. Do post photos there. And also, once you get the teams formed, you will have a Slack sub-channel for each of the teams so you can start collaborating and talking amongst you. More logistics. This is the Twitter handle. So please tweet with photos, with stuff that happens here. Let the whole world know about the awesomeness that we're creating here during the weekend. This is also the Facebook page, and also use the hashtag on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, like everywhere. Then, you can let your friends know that they can see us on live stream. Hi, Mama, I'm here. So this is the live stream on our webpage, and there you're going to see the schedule with all the things that will be live streamed. There will be very interesting talks that will be live streamed, as well as your pitches later tonight and on Sunday. Good. We've got this covered. You wrote down the hashtags. Then, what's going to happen afterwards? After the weekend, we're going to have the kickoff for the INNOspace Masters, where with the ideas that you get out of this weekend, you can sign up to this competition. So then a jury will give you feedback, prizes, awards, and so on. You're going to find out more about this throughout the weekend and more on Sunday when we're going to do the final presentations. Even though we're in Germany, we're doing this event in English because we have 65 participants from 16 different countries. Because innovation needs a lot of different things, and generally mixing people with different cultural and professional background is the best way to kickstart innovation. Having people that look at one problem with such a diverse mindset is the way to find new solutions to the problems that we all face. Then, a few things about the space that we're going to be in throughout the weekend. This is the floor that we're in. This is the Jupiter room where we are right now. This is where the main talks will be held. This is where the resources will be found. You can leave your luggage here. There's another room in the back where the Keynote toys will be, so you can experiment and prototype with that. And then there are 2 meeting rooms. Also, the food area is here, very important. Then, the other floor, that will be used today just for the design thinking workshop, and starting tomorrow will be your place to work for the whole weekend. There will be more spaces there available, but once you will get your team formed later tonight, starting tomorrow morning, you will be allocated a space to work in. Then, we are in this very cool, awesome space, and the solution space has startup offices, more than 3,500 square meters, an open space and co-working area, great coffee, as you will enjoy during the weekend. This is a place that connects creative minds, entrepreneurs, and global innovators, and we are thrilled to be here. As you've seen, this place was almost like built for this event, with the whole space team in mind, but also we need to go over a few logistics just to make sure that we keep this space clean and nice for everyone. So there's delicious drinks that are available for you guys here. Please do not throw the bottles in the bins. They are plastic recipients. Place them back in the boxes because they will recycle this. Then keep your areas tidy. We don't have our mothers here to help us clean the space, so it's up to us to be responsible adults while innovating. Keep this whole area clean, and please, if you have any dietary concerns, remind the catering staff about the food that you want to consume during the weekend. That's it with logistics. If you have any questions, remember, black t-shirt. What I want to do now is introduce the whole organizing team. So the organizing team, please come here on stage. Come here on stage, everyone. And you, of course, big round of applause. Most of them are still working. Putting up such a big event is not an easy task. Thank you so much, guys. They've been working hard for the past few months to put together this event for you. And thank you so much for all the effort. As I said, whenever you have a question, just grab a black t-shirt and we will do our best to help you. Thank you. Going forward, we have very important partners that allow this event to be happening. We have the City of Cologne, we have OHB, Airbus, and Cargo, and the European Space Agency. So big round of applause for our partners. So, what will you do this weekend? Rockets, right? Well, let's just take it slowly. You're gonna validate an idea, you're gonna learn a bunch of new skills, hopefully, and ideally, you're going to meet a co-founder and build a team, start a project, do your startup, and hopefully end up changing the world or leaving the world. Just remember, in order to innovate, you need to leave your comfort zone. You need to do things differently. You need to think differently about the problems that we have so that you come with new solutions. And we're going to help you with that. So here's the schedule of the weekend, and I'll briefly go over that because we're going to talk about this almost every day so you know what's going to happen ahead. We've structured a few things along the line for you. So we're going to start with empathizing. You will need to get a deeper understanding of the area that you want to change. So we're having some very interesting tours that you'll be part of later today. Then, starting in that tour, you will start to have some ideas, and we will help you define them in the design thinking workshop. We're going to ideate around that sparked in your head, and then during the weekend, you're going to prototype, start working on this with all the team that you'll gather and all the resources that will be here for you, the mentors, the mechanotoys. And then you're going to start testing on Sunday, start preparing your presentation, and deliver the final presentation on Sunday in front of the jury. So, as I said, this is Friday. We're starting with the empathy tour, the design thinking workshop in the afternoon. We're defining the problem so that you can start pitching later in the day. Then we'll vote for the best ideas. And then we're going to form teams. And this will be the end of Friday. On Saturdays, the teams that form on Friday night will do the check-in. They will start working on their ideas and brainstorm some more to crystallize, to find out what exactly they are trying to build. They will start building. Of course, they will iterate. This is an essential part of innovation where you build stuff that fails, but you learn from the failure and then improve on your initial idea. And keep building and failing and iterating until you get to where you want to get. And on Sunday, we will be, of course, again, fresh and innovating and working. You're going to start testing. You're going to use the business model canvas. You're going to start working on your presentation. We're going to do a technical check with your presentation to make sure that everything works perfectly, just like this presentation right here. And then you're going to deliver your final presentation in front of the jury. You'll get prizes, and we're going to have a networking dinner at the end. That's about it, what will happen during the weekend. Now, we're having some very special guests that will help us kickstart this amazing weekend. So, without further to add, I would like to have on stage Henriette Reker, the mayor of Cologne. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. In the heart of Cologne, distinguished Dr. Gruppe, distinguished Dr. Scharnberg, ladies and gentlemen from all over the world. First, I'm proud that you are here, that you are our guest for the weekend, and a very warm welcome on the occasion of the opening of the first INNOspace week in Cologne. I'm very happy to see that so many interested, creative, young and innovative people have come together here for the next 3 days. In Cologne, the topic of founders and startups is very important to us. And we have something to offer which is particularly distinctive. Cologne has a long tradition as an industrial location. This makes it possible for us to combine the experiences of traditional industry with the ideas and innovations of founders. Ladies and gentlemen, Cologne is the 4th largest city in Germany and is continuing to grow and is one of the leading economic and scientific hotspots in Germany. Moreover, a broad range of strong and historically growing industries and research institutions are present here. It is an established fact that startups have become a crucial and independent pillar of our economic system, but they are also a boost to innovation and change in an established economy, as well as in many areas of everyday life. No field is exempt of this process, be environmental or climate protection, education or administration. We will only be able to master these challenges and make use of resulting advantages if the various involved players are well connected through networking and cooperate with each other. Moreover, the willingness to share experiences and think outside the box by connecting dots in new ways is today much more pronounced than only a few years ago. I'm very pleased that so many successful businesses and institutions are participating today and let others profit from their experiences. An important focus of activity for both me personally and the city of Cologne is to further this proximity and the transfer of, as well as the exchange of expertise. Our task is to create framework conditions that facilitate this cooperation. It is my conviction that Cologne can offer optimal conditions in this area. Cologne is a cosmopolitan, livable and tolerant city with 18 colleges and approximately 100,000 students, some 30 co-working spaces and an excellent broadband connectivity. In a nutshell, this makes for an ideal location for the startup ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that your ideas will come soon and you have many success in these next days. We have already successfully established relevant platforms and partnered outstanding events with significant stakeholders, all of which address on one common goal: innovation, made in Cologne. This effort fits hands in glove with the INNOspace weekend, for which I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the organizers and have a good time together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, one important ingredient of innovation is having local public authorities support that. So we thank you so much for your presence here, and I'm happy to see that local authorities give a push to innovation, because it's essential and it's at the base of kickstarting several projects. Well, another important aspect of innovation is having the support of amazing companies. And right now, I would like to have a huge round of applause for our host. The DLR is basically the entity behind the INNOspace weekend, and we're going to have Dr. Gerd Gruppe saying a few words on behalf of DLR. So please, big round of applause.
Sehr geehrte Frau Oberbürgermeisterin, dear Mayor Reker, Dr. Scharnberg, welcome to you. And I think it is a long time ago that I was standing in front of such a brilliant closer community. Normally, when I deliver a speech, the gray-haired men with collar and tie. So far, they have hair, but all the people I'm talking to try to create the future. And your task as young people is to create a future in Europe, for your country, worldwide, Russia, USA, and so on. And I cross fingers that you are successful today. And thank you to the ministry, and thank you to the mayor of Cologne, that you are constantly supporting young people running their own business. And I think it's one of the most important things. As you know, things are changing. We are changing in technology, we are changing in industry, and we expect changes in society and even in politics. And was mache ich jetzt hier falsch?
Is the creative energy.
Yeah. Okay. If you read the newspapers you can read about cars. The cars of the future are environmental friendly, they are autonomous, and they are connected to the surroundings, data connection, grids, and navigation systems. And there will be the basis for a communication and fun center, but I personally expected in the other way around. There will be a new office extending the daily work time for some hours. But although I think it's not only fun, the new cars, I think it's a big chance for all of us. And I personally look forward look forward having these new cars, because I think long distance driving is really boring. So the other thing, we are talking today about logistics, automotive and space. And the other thing is space. By the way, Germany is one of the most relevant places for space, and they have a strong space community. But if you look at space, there are a lot of changes. External changes. We have a tremendous new change. We are orientating our industry in a new way, and we try to give more space to commercial aspects. That's based on technology. It's based on the tremendous progress in electronics, microelectronics, mechatronics, and software technology. And the other thing is we have external factors. Everybody knows who is Elon Musk and his concept. Everybody knows Jeff Bezos. But what's the interesting thing is that they are coming from outside the space. They are not space people. They are entrepreneurs coming from other branches and taking bring a big impact on the space industry. And I'm very happy about this because they make space cheaper and faster. And cheaper means more customers, potentially more customers. So far, we from DLR try to bring together different branches, automotive and space, energy and space, because in the overlap between the branches and the disciplines, there's a source of innovation. Combining the technologies, combining business models, that is the path to the future. I have to thank several people here. First is to our sponsors, OHB and Airbus. I have to say thank you to the business ESA business incubators, here represented by Mr. Zimmermann, for incubators in Munich and in Darmstadt. And I have to say thank you to Adrian and his team and Design and Data, who will lead you through this 3 days event. So, I cross fingers that you have a brilliant idea and that you have really a good chance to run your own business. And whatever you need some money, there's plenty of money in the world, a little bit money at DLR, so don't hesitate to contact us. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Moving forward, I would like to have on stage Dr. Michael Scharnberg from the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. Please.
Well, thank you. If you're wondering who this young guy is and why this older guy is talking, a colleague pointed out quite directly to me. I submitted an old photo, which is possibly, I have just found out I'm not that young anymore because I don't know what a Slack channel is. You need to explain later to me. But anyway, dear Mayor Reker, dear Mr. Gruppe, dear participants, it's nice to see so many entrepreneurs of the future who are interested in mobility, logistics and space. And I'm really looking forward to the mobility and the logistics of the future because I finished my speech yesterday evening. I wanted to print it out this morning and my printer said, please try again later. Therefore, you see, without the right hardware and software solutions, logistics and in-time production can be quite difficult. And lucky me, the traffic and traffic jams around Cologne and in Cologne gave me enough time to think about what I can say without my notes. So you probably know better than me, or you will find out this weekend, how logistics and mobility will or might change in the future with automated driving, unmanned UAVs, and so on. And that this is really a big challenge because it will change our society and also our economy in this industry 4.0, as we call it in Germany. So smart production, smart logistics, this will be a big change. And those who master this, who are first movers, have a big competitive advantage in the worldwide competition. And well, as Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, we've hoped that these ideas and these challenges are mastered in Germany, so that in the future we have we can continue to prosper. And therefore it's great to see such interest in startups, in new ideas, and as was already pointed out several times, and here you can see the advantage of the first and second mover and the disadvantage of the third mover. So much has already been said. So in order not to repeat what's already been said, we have to bring together people of very different backgrounds in order to, because that is the key to innovation. And well, this is true for all branches and sectors. What does that have to do with space, and what does that have to do with automotive logistics in space? Well, first of all, space has a long heritage with respect to automated control and flying. Yeah, this weekend Cassini will, so if you're in the Saturn room, watch out, it might crash there this weekend. And of course, you have you have to have a high level of automation when things are so far away. So this is a heritage space brings. Telecommunications is one sector where space is already an enabler, and also electric propulsion and electric energy is key to space. So this is where space can immediately contribute to challenges in other sectors. But space is also an infrastructure, and maybe an infrastructure of the future. So if you think of worldwide logistics, worldwide automotive, our automotive industry sells worldwide, so they need worldwide solutions. And space is a worldwide infrastructure. So there are natural, so these are points where I'm sure space, automotive, logistics have something in common, and it's very important to just get people from the different sectors together, because space people know what space can do, but logistics and automotive people know what logistics and automotive need in the future. So, and therefore this thinking outside the box, Mr. Gruppe mentioned new space, which is driven by the spirit of the Silicon Valley. Release, patch, update. Release, patch, update. This is unthinkable for a traditional space company to just try something and it doesn't work, you just try again, or you try to update that. So this is, so the spirit of Silicon Valley brought a spirit that helped to bring a totally new mindset to space, and that works. We'll see what in 10 years is left of new space, but it is already changing also the way the traditional space industry works. And this shows how important these impulses from outside, from other sectors are. And of course, also a lot of private equity money in Silicon Valley, which is also quite important, but more important are the ideas. So this is why also the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy has several initiatives that support startups. There are some in the DLR Space Administration, which are directly related to space-related startups. There are more general initiatives, which I won't bore you with. Be sure, if you have an idea, there are structures and programs in Germany to support that. But first, the most important thing first is the idea. And this is where you have this weekend to get in touch with people from around the world, with other ideas, with other point of views, and use that to really think outside the box. And yeah, with that, I wish you a great weekend. Thank you to the organizers and all the supporters, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. So we're kickstarting enthusiasm with the support. Now time to mix a bit of ideas, a bit of inspiration. So next on stage, we're going to have a keynote presentation from Dr. Mario Herger, and he's going to tell us a very interesting story. In time, don't forget, hashtags, Twitter, Instagram, you know, the social media part. So, big round of applause. Dr. Mario Herger.
What it, geht's nicht? Hört man nicht? Also dann machen wir das ohne den. Ist das runter? Wir machen das ohne den. But first I have to tell you, Germany is awesome. And that's even more of a compliment, considering that I'm Austrian and we are barely giving compliments to Germans. And I mean, we have very beautiful cities. Cologne is certainly one of the most beautiful cities that I know. The cathedral, the food, fantastic. Also, other locations, of course, Bavaria, here, Bad Tölz, or when you look at the craftsmanship that we have, that's Germany very famous for. These are some of those people on the Walz, as you may have realized. Or just the food, you know, all the cakes, all the great food that we have. And you know, we also have a lot of ideas that we realize and turn into great products, like this car. We invented the car. And by the way, you may not know that, but the car industry got actually started by a kick-ass German woman called Bertha Benz. You may not know that, but Karl Benz may have invented the car, but he was too much of a pussy to really, you know, get this car out on the road, because at this time then, in Mannheim, the city of Mannheim didn't give him the license to drive the car outside of his own property. So what did Bertha Benz do? Not only did she have the money to be kind of the first venture capitalist to invest in him, and she was what we would call today a geek, a nerd. She was really into engineering as well, but she also was the rebel that went outside and broke all the laws that were there. She took her two children, underage children, the 13 and the 14-year-old sons that she had, and took the car from Mannheim to Pforzheim to visit her. Took a whole day, the 109 kilometers to drive, but she broke the laws of Mannheim. She broke her laws with her husband because he didn't allow her to take it. She fixed a couple of problems on the way. Yeah, she fixed the blocked pipeline for the gas. She bought gasoline in Wiesloch at the pharmacy, 2 liters of benzene. That's all what they had. So she didn't care about missing gas stations or all these kind of problems. And she was a great marketing genius. Yeah, 10 years later. Every year, Karl Benz sold 600 cars of that thing. So we built the fucking first car. And Germany's World Cup champion, yeah, right? 2014 World Cup champion. So, but, yeah, in 2016, you did not become European champions. So that means also you cannot just rely and lay on your laurels and rest on them and do nothing. Things are changing quickly. Also, we have problems that we just have to solve for, that we need to find solutions for. We have problems that come to us. they're not staying outside. So I was a week after those attacks in Paris. I happened to be in Paris and stumbled over all those places without searching for them where those terror attacks were. And many of those people are coming to Germany. So they're not coming to any country, they're coming to Germany, showing that this country is one where they can live, where they can raise families, where they can work, where they can show what they can do. And these are people coming with hopes and dreams to us. So we don't have to hide and feel inferior, but we also know that there are things coming from a certain region of the world that we are not quite understanding. And by understanding it or trying to understand it better, what can we do and change here? So, and for this one, I wanted to change a little bit the speed and looking at the Erfinderschicksal that we always hear, the ill fate of inventors here. And we have to tell you, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a startup. And when we look at inventions that have been done, for example, in Austria, I'm from Austria. When you grow up there, you understand that everything basically was invented in Austria. But unfortunately, there was always some American or some Englishman who stole this idea and made big money out of that, yeah? Which means one thing, we have ideas enough, like for example for the sewing machine or the propeller or the typewriter, but in order to bring it out to the market, we need people who buy that, who are interested in really using it, solving a problem with that, spending money on that, thus giving the first cash flow to such a startups and the first validation of the product, but also people who help you with those ideas, that look at that, give you feedback on that, encourage you doing it, but also investors that are willing to risk their money on that, even if they may lose quite some money. With others, they may make more money than they've lost with the other ones. Here's an example. When I published my book, The Silicon Valley Mindset, last year in March, I got an email in April from a guy who called René Kachlier. And he owns a sausage kiosk stand, a Würstelstand. And he told me he bought his book and he wants to meet me. And I thought, a sausage kiosk vendor in Vienna reads my book about the Silicon Valley and startups and all this. I have to meet this guy. Yeah. So once we were here, he not only let us taste his special curry sausage recipe that he had, he also pitched me 3 startup ideas. And the third startup idea was one where he said, okay, I have this platform where I want to connect students with people who have a job. Like for example, a bride who wants to have a wedding photographer, and there's maybe a photography student who's looking for a practice, for experience, field experience, and offers that for a cheaper price than a professional photographer would do. Match. So he talked to a couple of students in order to build a first prototype for that platform. So he spoke with them a week, he heard nothing from them, and then they came back to him and said, we were thinking about your idea. We figured out that those students would need a license in order to operate, and from the Chamber of Commerce, and they wouldn't get that, so this idea can never fly. So before they even had a platform, a prototype, even had validated if there's interest, they already found all the problems that could possibly be there with this platform and stopped it. So we have basically, we find for every solution all the problems quite immediately. This is what the Europeans are fantastic in doing. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an understanding of how this can be done differently. Because on the other side, we have these startup success stories in the US that we all may know. For example, Jim McKelvey, a glassblower from Texas, he had a customer who wanted to buy his glassware that he had, his artware, for $2,000. And he asked him, I would really love to buy your stuff, but I don't have $2,000 in cash. Would you take credit card? And Jim said, well, I'm just a little artist. I don't have a business account, and I have no contracts with the credit card company, so I cannot. So nothing came out of the deal. And he started thinking and said, I'm not the only one who has these problems. What about all my friends? What about the little vendors that have the same issues? So what he did is, he didn't stop there. He went ahead and signed up in a makerspace called Tech Shop, where he built his first prototype of what looks like this. And I have this here. It's a credit card reader that you put then into your cell phone. Let me just handle that quickly. So you put it in your cell phone, and then swipe your credit card through that. And this is how you pay with credit card. And you just sign up, pay transaction fees, download a little app, and within a few weeks, he raised several $100 million. And 1.5 years, he went to he had an IPO, and he went to the stock exchange, and raised money at an evaluation of $2.9 billion. This company is called Square. Now let me go back. A glassblower from Texas disrupts the banking business. We in Germany, in Austria, and in the Czech Republic have a lot of glassblowing business. Yeah, Riedel, Swarovski, Lobmeier, the Bavarian industry on that thing. And now you tell them, you know what? A Swarovski glassblower disrupts, Deutsche Bank, yeah, Commerzbank. You would say, you're an idiot. It's never happening. But that's what we already heard. Yeah, the disruption comes always from the outside. So this is one example. Another example are those three. They had an apartment in San Francisco, and then they figured out they have not enough money to pay the rent. But they also figured out something else. There were tons of conferences going on in San Francisco, and all the hotels were booked solidly. So we had one spare room. What would we do? We put an air mattress in there, and boom, here it was, Airbnb. Airbnb today is at a higher evaluation than the largest hotel chain, yeah, than the Marriott Hotel or than the Hilton Hotel Group. And another one is those two guys are in 2008 at the Le Web Summit in Paris and try to get a taxi in the rain. Yeah, those of you who have ever been in Paris trying to get a taxi know what problem that is. So what did they do? They started Uber. Uber had an evaluation over $60 billion. They raised so far $16 billion in cash and disrupt the taxi industry and everything there. So they can do that. They are not coming from the industries that they're disrupting. They're coming from outside. And I wanted to show you a little bit of how this can be done. And that's why are they doing that? Is it because they're all these superheroes? Is this because this is the architecture that's so fantastic, or because it's so ugly there, partly, yeah? Or is this because the air is so great? I lost a couple of pictures, I think, but which means I have to refresh my thing. Give me a second. I'm missing some videos, some stuff here, you see. Sorry for that, internet connection. So we've heard that already. Those people are coming from outside your industry. Who's from the space industry here? Who's from the automotive industry? And who is from the logistics industry? So there are at least half of the people who are not from any of those industries. You're the disruptors. Others actually should be in a startup or a startup idea from another industry in order to come up with a very fresh perspective on that. And don't be shy on those things. So let's try it again, wherever we are. So I'll start the presentation again here. Okay, sorry for that. So what is the reason for that? Why those people in Silicon Valley are so great? Are they superheroes? Are they having these nice buildings or these, fucked up buildings? Is this the air that's so great? Is it the water? Are they genetically different? Or are they smoking something? And that's a real startup actually there, because in California, marijuana is now legal. So no, We're talking here about behaviors. And when we look at Silicon Valley, there are 60,000 Germans living there. This is the area between San Francisco and San Jose with 3.5 million people only. This is a distance of 100 kilometers that we're talking about. 60,000 Germans, 3,000 to 4,000 Austrians, and 5,327 Swiss. Swiss precision because they need to register there. Yeah? That's and I give you an example, a thought example. Just think of that. Imagine it's 10 years ago and they have €1 million to invest. And then comes this young startup founder and tells you, I have this great platform where people can send each other messages with 140 characters. Would you invest? Nobody would invest. You would say, what a stupid idea is that? Who let this guy in? Yeah? But we all know, of course, that's Twitter. I just looked it up, $13.5 billion valuation. Yeah? It was not long time ago, it was $20 billion. And you can't argue with that, even if you still think it's a stupid idea. But what happened that this person could pitch the idea, could raise money, could realize that thing, and barrel on with such an idea? This is because people are not saying, what a stupid idea, but they don't judge. They say, I don't understand your idea, but explain it a little bit. Yeah? And suddenly we have a conversation going on. Yeah? We say, and can you also do this? And what if you would speak to that person, or if you do that? So you have an open conversation instead of a closed conversation that you have here. Also, they are not ashamed to bring forward their idea. They feel psychologically safe. And Linus Pauling, 2 times Nobel Award winner, he said, in order to have good ideas, you need many ideas. Yeah? 99 ideas may be really bad, but the one idea that it sparks, these other 99 ideas spark, this one idea is the one that's great and that can go forward. Also, they go and believe in what's called the pay it forward. I meet with people for 15 minutes without expecting anything from them. But because I spend the 15 minutes or 30 minutes with them and listen to their ideas and give them feedback, they do this next time when they are being approached by somebody. And that's how it runs in a circle. And sometimes it comes to me back when I need help at something. And that's what's called paid forward. They're not afraid of taking risks. That's a kind of stupid risk and smart risk. Yeah? Smart risk taking means do it quickly without bringing the house down and learn from it and apply that. So when we look at, a few years ago, my son, he was 3 or 4 years old, just before he could really speak. I came home from work and he showed me, he banged his head on this telephone, on this TV table. And I said, oh my God, oh, you are so poor. Yeah. Where else do you remember that you hit your head? Yeah. And he showed me in the living room all the places where he had hit his head, here, there, over there. If you had blood everywhere, this would be fully blood-stained, this building. Yeah. But he would not give up in trying to walk. So we are not here, we are falling on our asses, on our noses, hundreds or thousands of times when we are small children. And we're not there, and laying there after the 50th time, falling down and say, maybe walking is not for me. I've seen every one of you coming in on 2 legs today. So you never gave up, you're not a quitter. Yeah, you took the risk. Failure was not an option here for you. So we can do that. That's what we should have in mind. Also, the people in Silicon Valley live after what is called the Moore's Law. You may have heard of Moore's Law. Gordon Moore was the founder of Intel. And he came up in the 60s, figured out that every 12 to 24 months, the number of transistors on the computer chip doubled. So the speed increased. So it's an exponential curve. Yeah? It goes up like this. When you do it like this, it becomes linear. And people dubbed it Moore's Law. And a few years ago, he said, well, it is actually not a law. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. People knew about that connection and then planned accordingly. They said, if we are not doing that in 12 months, others will do and we lose out. And that's why Silicon Valley lives this kind of Moore's Law. We see that now with electric vehicles, with autonomous vehicles, they live the same. In Germany, we tend to have what I call reverse Moore's Law. Everyone will tell you why it cannot work, why it will not work. nobody wants it, and that this is 20 years and longer here. And those two industries, yeah, the Silicon Valley industry and the German industry are coming together. While the Silicon Valley follows that curve, the German industry follows that curve. And the gap increases more and more and more. And we need to think more Moore's law paradigm. This is what I call this lack of ambition that we have here, because we think nobody wants it. Yeah, nobody wants to do it. Nobody needs it. Nobody will buy that. We have not enough electric charging stations, so nobody will do that. Better Benz did it without having gas stations. Yeah, so we can do that. Maybe also to look a little bit of the situation status today. The 5 largest US corporations today, the most evaluated corporations are those 5 companies: Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. The West Coast. 2 in Seattle, 3 in Silicon Valley. Their total value, their market valuation is $2.8 trillion, $2.9 trillion. 2 of them, Apple and Microsoft, are 45 years or less than 45 years, and the other 3 are younger than 25 years. Let's look at Germany. The DAX 30 companies, together, 30 companies, have an evaluation of $1,395 billion. Not even the half of those 5 companies. 24 out of those 30 companies are older than 100 years. Which on the one side is good, they'll survive long, but this means also we're not being able to make new companies. We have a problem here. The largest digital company here is SAP. This is the only digital company of world significance, of global significance, and it is evaluated with $135 billion. Even if this is the largest digital company, and I worked for them for 15 years, this is 1/4 of the value of each single one of those. So we are somehow not able to get into the digital world here, and we have to really think hard about it, how to do that. And then they tell stories. They tell stories and do not talk about technology.
I'm just gonna stop. Right here? Yes! Save us a seat.
Shouldn't it be easier and safer to get where we want to go? Since 2009, our team at Google has been developing fully self-driving technology and testing it on real city streets every single day. Until, after more than 1 million miles, we were ready to take a big step forward. In 2015, we completed the world's first truly driverless ride on public roads. Just a person in a car, no steering wheel, no pedals, navigating everyday traffic.
Well, I've never been in Austin, Texas. Now I'm driving in Austin, Texas. It's a profound experience for me to be alone in a car. A very important segment of my life went away when my vision failed, and a self-driving car would give me a huge part of my life back.
This is just the beginning. We're looking ahead to a new way, a better way for everyone. Say hello to Waymo.
This is how a Silicon Valley company talks about technology. They tell a story. I spare you the German examples. This is what we need to learn again. We are the country of the Brothers Grimm. Yeah, we have Wilhelm Busch. We have a lot of literary Nobel Award winners, and we cannot tell stories in our technology companies. We need to learn that again. I wanted to dive in a little bit into the automotive industry because it's one of the parts here, and I have a book coming out on that topic, just to give you an idea on how those things are being driven there and where they are and where we have to be. And this is autonomous driving. So I was last year in Austria. We commemorated 100 years our former emperor was dead, who gave us Sissi. Well, actually, it was Bavaria who gave us Sissi, and who also sent a lot of people into the death in the First World War. And I was standing in the Royal Imperial in the Carriage Museum, and this was his favorite carriage. It was kind of the Porsche of its time, a luxurious sports carriage. And I was standing there in front of that and read the name of the carriage maker called Karl Marius. No reaction. Yeah, nobody knows this guy, huh? Yeah, what happened to him? The car industry happened to him. The future happened to him, and disrupted those guys. And what we figured out when we look at who made it, none of the carriage makers really made it into the new world. And when you look at the backgrounds of each of those automotive pioneers, they were all mechanical engineers, mechanic, electricians, industrialists, metal workers, gunsmiths, etc. So they came from outside the carriage industry and disrupted it. This is one important thing. So these are 40 companies today who have a license in California to test autonomous vehicles on public roads. 40 companies. Most of them you don't know, you have never heard of. Of course you know BMW and Volkswagen, but Pony AI, yeah, or was it Jingji Corporation or Zoox? You probably never heard about them. These are 40 companies and they operate today over 1,000 cars, 1,000 test prototypes, autonomous vehicles that are driving on, and I've seen of those approximately 20 or 25 entities, those cars driving in my neighborhood. You cannot ignore them, you cannot miss them because they are just there. And everyone who tells you it's not possible, it's impossible, like German car manufacturers, yeah? Once you stand beside them, what are you talking about? Here they are, they're driving around in different levels of autonomy already. Here just some recordings that I've made. So this is just in the neighborhood that I live in Mountain View, one of those cars that Google operates. Some others on the highway. Some in the night. Yeah, they are now retired, those cars. They have now the next generation of cars out there on the roads. Some here at Google headquarters, Google campus in Mountain. This is the one that was Apple. This is a car that is Apple, operated by Apple. We didn't know that at this point. This was in February. In April, we knew it's an Apple car. That's a mapping car for creating high-precision maps for autonomous vehicles by Apple. This is a bus, a driverless bus that's on an office park that has an exemption actually to be allowed to drive without a driver on public roads. Starting in November, all the cars will be allowed to not have any driver anymore in there, without any pedals and nothing controls. Here's a car from Uber in San Francisco. This is just a small selection of cars that I've seen and filmed and videotaped while driving, often while driving my own car. Yeah. Here a bus, a truck.
Support for KQED comes from BMWi Turbine Services, the Bay Area termite and pest experts. BMWi eliminates termite and pest problems using orange oil and other targeted low toxicity options that don't require tech.
Here a delivery robot brings you your lunch. There are like a dozen of them driving around in Redwood City alone. There's another company doing that in San Francisco. Or here security robots that scan license plates that smell urine, activities and report it directly. All Silicon Valley companies that we see here operating that. So here, and this is a look into the Google garage where they have all parked all their vehicles. They operate alone 600 cars today. You can use this technology also in other spaces.
Any other nation in the world. Almost 900 kilometers per person. But that also means we have 350,000 bike-related injuries. Now imagine that we would make biking safer, smarter and easier by applying self-driving technology to biking. We taught our self-driving bike to figure out where it is, what's around it, what will happen next, and what it should do.
We leaned on Google's expertise in self-driving cars, but we had to adapt the technology to work on a bike. We decided to add 2 additional features. First, you can request the bike to pick you up wherever you are, and we developed a comfort mode, adjusting the pedals to a perfect resting position.
I think the self-riding bike could really give a boost to the economy because people could also work on their bicycle. You work in your office, you work in your home, you work in your car. You could even work on your bike.
I have so much more time. My kids love it. They're just free. They can go anywhere they want, anytime they want. It's amazing.
At the Fietsersbond, we feel that this is the biggest invention since the invention of the bicycle itself.
At Google, we always put our user first. With the launch of this bike, we believe we do that again.
We just missed it, April 1st, so we have to wait until next year. When we again look at the people behind those autonomous vehicles, we see the backgrounds. They're not coming from the vehicle industry, from the car industry. From computer scientists, roboticists, they are AI experts, they are physicists. And you see, alone from their backgrounds, this is disruption that is happening. And why do we need those kind of people? Because today we're creating with autonomous vehicles for every vehicle, every hour, over 1 terabyte of data, because we have to interpret what they see, those sensors, understand the context. What does the car have to do? Yeah, is this a car, a police car stopping that? Is this something we go? And we have already 80,000 cars with autonomous hardware on the streets, even in Germany. You just don't know it. Tesla, since October, delivers the car with the Kit 2, which has 8 cameras, radar sensors, ultrasonic sensors, and a graphic processor that can do that. And it's just waiting for the software. So once the software is here in early 2018, we have suddenly 150,000 cars on the street that can drive level 4 autonomously in certain areas. And they're just among us. We also see that, for example, Tesla is today worth more than BMW car maker that's only 80,000 cars sold in contrast to 10 million. Here's one from the transportation truck, a commercial truck that was driving autonomously already last year. And just show you that small video.
I got into truck driving in 2007. I like to travel the country. That's one of the reasons drivers get into the industry. They want to see the country. It's a big, beautiful place.
Anheuser-Busch is the largest brewer in the United States. We ship over 1.2 million truckloads each year. We are always looking for new innovations in technology. Auto's trucks are the next area of transportation innovation.
The driver would still be involved with the pickup, loading the freight, making sure it's secure in the back of the vehicle. And then once you're on the interstate, one switch and it's driving itself down the road.
Well, Auto's technology is all about making the road safer. It's like a train on software rails. And so when you will see a vehicle driving with nobody in it, you'll know that it's very unlikely to get in a collision.
I proclaimed to one of the technicians, I said, I don't think I could have done that better myself. That was an interesting moment.
The technology is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. What can we do? Somebody should say somebody to call somebody to do something. No, we can do that. Yeah, Berta Benz just did. She didn't know somebody, and the Germans just shot the goals, scored the goals. They did not ask for permission for that. They just did, and that means don't ask for permission. Just ask for forgiveness. And this way, Germany will stay awesome. I wanted to finish with one quote by Elon Musk, and he said, "I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad." And that basically is how we should think about that, what you're doing, not find all the problems for a solution, but find the solutions for the problems that we have today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this presentation. Was it inspiring? New ideas? Maybe new mindsets? Someone wants to switch the tours to go to a different one? Let's hope not. All the logistics is planned, we're not changing anything. Just kidding. Okay, what I wanted to say, besides the startups and entrepreneurship thing, I also work on one of the companies that you had there with the self-driving cars. And it's a pretty interesting technology, and I'm looking forward to seeing only self-driving cars on the road. All right, until we get back the technical setup. So, how many space scientists we have here? Who can explain me what a light year is? All right. Anyone else? Yes. All right. I see it more as like a regular year, but with less calories. Just different mindset. Are we back with the presentation? All right. Good. So. Next, I would like to thank again our hosts from DLR, and I would like to welcome on stage to say a few words to Dr. Franziska Zeitler. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are Mr. Kriechbaumer. He started the organization and the concept very much, and I say thank you to Mr. Kriechbaumer especially, and we are very glad that so many people are here, and also for the inspiring keynote, and we hope that we get on Sunday evening many interesting and innovative ideas. So we are looking forward to your work and to the Sunday evening.
Thank you very much. I also would like to welcome you, every one of you. For me, this is like my baby, this one here. So let me down, please. I have nice ideas. I'm quite sure that after all the mentors, after all the organizations gave so much feedback, so much input, I'm quite sure that every one of you will come up with some really brilliant and nice idea. And let's hope you give us a hard time who will win this one. But basically, I think you're right now already winning this one because you're here, you choose to come here. And as Mr. Herger said, first step done, let's take the second step. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. So they will also be part of the judges here on Sunday. So I was a bit strict with the social media and the hashtags, and I will one more reason for it. So let's do a group selfie. Everyone look happy, creative, and innovative, right? 1, 2, 3. Hands up. Okay, there will be sound on the photo, so it's good. It's good. We're good. As we said before, after the initial talks and the inspiration that we want to give you, we want to add more inspiration on top, and we're gonna have the tours that will come up, and you all signed up for that. And to explain you what's going to happen during the tours and what the outcome of the tour should be, I would like to invite now on the mentor that will do the design thinking workshop, and she will introduce herself and then also present all details about what's going to happen in the tour and later in the day with design thinking workshop. So please, round of applause.
Hello, welcome from me as well. My name is Angeliki Kapoglu. I'm a strategy advisor for Lunar Exploration, ESA headquarters, but also the Dubai Future Foundation. But anyway, you will learn more about me during and design thinking during the afternoon. I'm going to be your design thinking mentor during the weekend. And actually, I want to give just a very quick intro to the tour and why this inspiration phase is so important. Because as you probably all know, great discoveries usually start with great questions, but usually the most difficult part in the creative process is finding the right question to ask, finding the right problem to solve for. And this phase is exactly about staying in this problem-finding area instead of just going and developing solutions immediately. So like, innovation needs inspiration, and inspiration doesn't come out of nowhere. We find opportunities for inspiration by observing our users, trying to get motivations, their challenges, and there are many ways to do that. We will go now during the tours. And on the logistic sides, as you know, you have already been assigning 3 different tours in different sectors. When you arrive there, you will attend some presentations on 5 different topics. And after that, you will join some experts who will be able to answer your questions around some posters you will find there about these specific categories. And now I just want to give you a very quick overview on the specific categories, because please try to make a mental note, because during the tours you will be able only to follow and ask questions about 3 of these categories. So this is for space, gravity effects on air, automation and robotics in space, autonomous navigation, connecting everything and mobility management. For automotive is autonomous vehicles, of course, new mobility services, connected cars, and big data. And finally, logistics, automating rail, freight transport, digitalizing physical asset management, box-to-rail, city logistics, LNG fuel. I'm curious to see what that is. So now, how to take advantage of your time with these experts will be there, and like they're really busy and important people, so try to make most of the time with them. The most important thing to remember is to try and be curious, have a beginner's mindset, and like try to question everything, like even the things you think you know, like you have an opportunity to ask some real experts there. I would also advise you to try and seek stories, like you can ask the experts, tell me a story about when there was like a very successful application of this technology, or when this technology broke down. Or you can also try and dig a little bit for emotion, something that we usually forget in the space sector. You can ask them, like what is the thing that they are most proud of in the work, what is the most challenging thing for them. And also just keep asking for meaning. You keep asking why, just keep being curious. Like you have probably 15 minutes with them to make most of your time. And also, of course, ask what are the challenges, the opportunities, the risks. And the final thing that I would like to ask for you is also make sure to capture everything, like all this information you get. Try and summarize it in like 3 quotes that you will hear and will be surprising to you. Observations you will have from the tour and the facilities there, or like 3 things that might be like surprising out of the box for you. You can include those things as post-it notes on the posters we will have there, and you will use these as inputs for the design thinking we will do in the afternoon with me. So thank you, and now go and get inspired. Thanks.
So as we have the 3 tours, the one that is focused on automotive, logistics, and the space, and the organizers will guide you towards the buses. You may grab a coffee before you go there so that you are fully energized. And we'll meet back here later in the day where we'll have an opportunity to relax, talk, and then we're going to start the design thinking workshop. So thank you. This was the opening of INNOspace Weekend. All right. Let's do this.